We had a lot of questions about Florida State's future. I mean, this is really up in the air right now. It's unfolding sort of as we speak. I think the future of Florida State is the future of college football. And what I mean by that is the direction the sport is taking right now, and there are a lot of theories about what the big changes coming are going to be. It's like Florida State is riding a frontage road that is parallel to that main road, and they're just craning the neck. Like, wherever you guys go, we got to go. We cannot be left behind. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, if you've been irresponsibly celebrating Christmas with your family instead of paying attention to off-field matters in college football, it's okay, because we are here for you. There was a Board of Trustees meeting last week down there, and they unanimously approved exploring breaking the grant of rights over there. A grant of rights, kids, for those unfamiliar, or adults, is where in 2013, after Maryland had jumped ship from the ACC, they got all the universities to sign over the rights to their games, essentially, to the conference. And then the conference negotiates with TV partners. Well, the conference decided to lock themselves into a deal with ESPN that runs through 2036, the old 23-year guarantee. Now, Hoopst amongst us hasn't been there before, and it's a death wish. It's just a death sentence. It is a contract that, if adhered to, will ensure the complete collapse of Florida State football as a national brand and national program. They know that. Okay, it pays them, in many cases, less than half per year of what teams in the SEC and the Big Ten are going to get. Notice what I just said to you. Florida State will not just be making half of what Alabama or Georgia makes. They won't just be making half of what Ohio State or Michigan make. They'll be making half of what Indiana makes, half of what Vanderbilt makes. Why? Because they've got the right sticker on the back of their helmet and you don't. They know they are a dead program walking if they stay in the ACC. So they got to fight to get out of that grant of rights. The estimates they put forth to break out of that thing, if they don't get any help and none of these lawsuits that they're filing stand up, is over $500 million. It would cost them over $500 million by their own estimation to get out of that thing. That's a lot of money. Okay, so what do I think about that? Well, you got one side that says, you guys signed the piece of paper. You signed your grant of rights. This is it. That's the end. You don't get to just renege on it all of a sudden because you no longer like the terms of the piece of paper you signed. I can see the point. A lot of validity to that. Then there's the other side that says, idiots, are you not listening? Like the rest of the conference, are you not listening? We're all dead. We will cease to exist at the Tier 1 head table of college athletics if we go through with this. 2036, Bradley will be 60 by then. We cannot do this. And also, there is some question as to whether this is even enforceable. Now, it sounds enforceable based on how everyone tiptoes and walks on eggshells around this grant of rights, but no one's challenged it legally. Like, you're inside the paper bag. You don't know how fortified it is, or maybe it's just soggy wet and one good punch would get you out of it. No one's ever had a judge weigh in on this stuff. So they're fingers crossed hopeful that they can get out of that thing. Here's my thought. My advice, if you live down in Ocala, or you live in Daytona Beach and you're a big Florida State fan, is breathe. And I've been telling you guys that for 2 weeks now. Breathe. You need to go 50K feet on this. Don't get into the weeds of needing updates every day, because this is going to be a multi-year deal or process. Your grant of rights is a multi-year deal. It's going to be a multi-year process. You do not know. I do not know. Greg Sankey and Tony Petiti, SEC and Big Ten commissioners, they do not know what this sport's going to look like in 2 years. So nothing is etched in stone right now. There's a lot of fog out there. So don't think that you're just headed towards the edge of a cliff no matter what. No, your situation is not good, but it's also not like skull and crossbones time yet. However, I'd go 50,000 feet on this just because I'm going to apply common sense and logic. My common sense and logic, acquired from an untold amount of years wandering this earth, is there's no version of major college football in the foreseeable future that does not include Florida State at the head table. I really struggle to see that. Now, if you pressed me for particulars on how they're going to accomplish that, I cannot give them to you right now. I'm just saying, the same way I would any of a number of random situations that could pop up in life, I'm just telling you, things will work out. There's too much at stake here for it not to. Things will work out. Now, you might remember on this program, I'd say about 2 years ago, we had a big kerfuffle, a big to-do about this upstart golf league. It was called Live. Yes, we've heard of that since then, haven't we? And why were they the devil? Well, they got in bed with the Saudis. And you cannot do that. You cannot do that. That is blood money. You cannot accept that. I don't really care what you think about that one way or the other. It happened. It is happening. It's in the process of happening. And I said, we in the college football world are watching this over on the other side of town saying, what? Isn't that the darndest thing? And I was looking around our own house, our own college football house. Wow, we've got a conference out on the West Coast in peril. You would know that as the Pac-12. It has since dissolved into the Pacific. And then we've got individual programs like a Clemson or like a Florida State who really want out of their current situation bad. They just don't have enough money. And so you can either do one of two things in those kinds of situations. You can sit there and kick your can around and be sad and mope and just bite the bullet and accept reality. Or you can go find the money. And there is no shortage of suitors. Well, there's a shortage, but there is a line. Okay, there are suitors available out there. You may not have $500 million, but there are people who do have $500 million. And I've always been of the opinion that private equity and private financing could find its way into being part of the solution to this problem. By solution, I simply mean the place where the money comes from. I'm not casting any kind of negative or positive light on it. I'm just saying where the money could come from. And I am of the opinion, whether it's Saudi Arabia or some tech company down in Orlando, I'm of the opinion that there is a grand opportunity here for someone to own a college football program. And in the Pac-12's case, I thought there was a grand opportunity for someone to, in a de facto manner, own a conference. If you come forth with the check, then you own the conference. You own the program. That's not what the contract says necessarily, but in reality, that's the case. Now, you may ask yourself, and you may ask me, Josh, what sense would it make for someone to own a conference or own a college football program? Like, what's their return? Well, the return is in marketing. That brand means a whole lot. Your attachment to that brand could mean a whole lot. In exchange for that little contribution, that little 9-figure contribution of yours, would come with it strings. And the strings can say whatever you want them to say. You may want decision-making powers over that university, over that athletic department, over that specific program. Or, you may want things like unlimited signage on game days to promote whatever it is you want to promote. You may want guaranteed airtime to promote whatever it is on the conjoined networks that you are affiliated with whatever promotion you want. All kinds of different little odds and ends could be accomplished there. Anyway, of course, I'm not speaking with guided knowledge of what's going on behind the scenes. That doesn't sound like me at all. I'm just saying there are many ways to skin this cat. You guys don't have to start GoFundMe $500 million just yet. There are ways to get out of this thing. I think it'll work itself out. It's going to be okay.